friends, welcome back. Today we are talking about mental load, overwhelm, stress, all that fun stuff. So if you deal with those things like every other person on the planet, I feel like, stick around for my 5 ways to reduce your mental load and to stress less. All right, so first things first, just in case you don't know, we will talk about what exactly is a mental load. Like, what are we talking about here? So, mental load is basically the amount of things on your brain at one time. So the mental load you carry is all the things you're trying to manage, remember, decide on all inside of your brain, right? For example, many women have all of these things in their head at one time, and it all contributes to their mental load. Here we go. What's for dinner? I need to clean the bathroom. What am I wearing today? Child, stop that. Child, stop that. You better do this, you know, parenting in general. And then you have to, did I remember to turn off the straightener? Are we spending too much money? I wonder what we have in the pantry for a snack. I wonder if I made that appointment I was supposed to make. I hope I remember to pack clothes for tomorrow, and so on and so forth. So you can see all of these things contribute to your mental load. The small things, the big things, the things that happen on a daily basis, trying to argue with your children, trying to get along with your spouse, all these things contribute to your mental load. So this also typically lands on the woman of the house most of the time. I'm not saying this is 100% of the situation, but right now in traditional roles and stuff, women are the ones who deal with all of this on a daily basis. So we're going to work with how to correct that and how to kind of share the load better, and different strategies that you and your spouse, your whole family, can use to make this better for everybody. You can easily get to a breaking point when you let all of this pile up. You can get overwhelmed, you can get stressed, you can get mad, you can yell at your kids, you can yell at your husband, you can just be an unhappy person all around. Been there, done that, right? I'm sure you guys have been there too. So we're going to talk about the 5 ways that I use to decrease my mental load so that I'm not overwhelmed and I'm not stressed every single day. Yeah, there's overwhelm and stress in other areas, I promise. Okay. Number 1 thing that has helped me is using a block schedule. Now, I talked about a block schedule. You can see the benefits of a block schedule that I talked about last week or the week before. I'll link it down below. But having that schedule lets me focus on the things that I'm supposed to be worrying about in this block and not about going through that running list in my head every single day. Instead of focusing on, you know, the massive list, I have like 3 or 4 things I'm worried about. That in itself has made a massive deal for my mental health and getting through this whole mental load thing. Does it work perfectly? No. There are plenty of other things we can do, and there's other ways that work with this. All of these tips that I'm going to give you can work together to make your mental load and your stress less. So, number 1, yes, using a block schedule, particularly making a block schedule and a dump list. So writing everything down that you have to do on one list and getting it out of your head, that can be almost immediately helpful. I don't know if you're list people, but I'm a list person, and doing that immediately helps me feel less stressed. All right, tip number 2, meet with your family, meet with your spouse most of all, and talk about different roles that you can divvy out and be between people that you can then take off your mental load. So something that my husband usually handles the laundry, so that's something that I just don't worry about. Certain roles and things that your kids or your husband is supposed to do, and this is a really good opportunity too. I would start and talk with your spouse, just your spouse first, and just tell them, hey, I'm really overwhelmed and I'm really stressed, and can we find a better way to like function together right now? Regardless of if you're staying home with your kids all day or working and then coming home to your kids, doing this all on your own is hard. So praise be to those single parents who make it work, because y'all are saints. But talking to your spouse and being really honest and saying, okay, we have to figure this out and like take some things off my list can be massively helpful. And just be really honest about how you feel and go through things that you think can help. All right, number 3 is going to be making certain decisions in advance. So this can be many different things. Number 1 for me is meal planning. I always meal plan because it saves me money. And it takes away that major mental load of what's for dinner and do I have everything for dinner, right? If you want to learn more about meal planning, I have a whole video on that too. You can just click on there after this video, of course. But mental load and meal planning are so tied together for me. So I always meal plan. I also meal prep. So that takes off a big stressor off for me as well. That's one thing that I can prep ahead of time that takes off my mental load daily. Other good examples of this is picking out your clothes ahead of time. So whether you do it the night before or you do a whole week at one time, you can pick out yours and your kids' clothes ahead of time, and that will take one thing off your list because that is something you worry about it whether you know it or not. You have to make a decision on that in the morning, and that just taxes your brain more and more. I personally don't do that, but I also stay at home with my kids most of the day, so I don't really worry about what I wear. Now, if I was working every day, yeah, that might be something that I would do because I think it would be a bigger help. Just anything and everything that you can make decisions on beforehand is going to be helpful. 4 is going to be decluttering your home. Basically, the more things that are in your home, the more you have to worry about, the more you have to clean, the more you have to pick up every single day and stress about maintaining. So that the less you have can make a big difference. We've been on this journey for a couple years, and honestly, the more we get out of our house, the better I feel. I am not saying that you have to be minimalist by any means. I am not. But having a simple lifestyle definitely helps make that mental load go down. So if you can take the time to go and declutter a few of the big rooms that are a big pain for you, that might seriously help. All right, and last but not least is going to be number 5, and that is going to be taking time for yourself. I don't care if your house is a mess. You need to take at least 20 to 30 minutes, try an hour each day for yourself, doing whatever you want to do. Having this time replenishes your soul and your ability to actually think straight and to handle all the things that are thrown at you every single day. And for me, it helps me with my mental load just by calming down with my head and not going through lists for just a little bit and only focusing on something else. And I know you might be screaming, Lord have mercy, where do you find time for 20 to 30 minutes for yourself every day? It gets scheduled into my day and it's not negotiable. So at the end of my days, when I take my me time, both my kids are asleep. They go to bed at 7:30. My 2-year-old and my 5-year-old are both in bed at 7:30. And after that, I pick up the house a little, I do the dishes, whatever. But then I have my me time, and it is sacred. It doesn't really get pushed off. It may get shortened. Life happens, right? But it doesn't have to be big things either. I take a bath, a bubble bath to be exact. I go hang out in my garden and plant some things. I do I watch a show that I've been wanting to watch. I watch a movie I've been wanting to watch. Little things like that help me take a breather, let go of the day, and be ready for the next one. All right, both my children are up, so this is gonna have to be cut. But we got through our 5 things, so that's what matters. Make sure to check back for videos next week. We're having some big things coming up, especially with the Busy Mom Block method coming out very soon. You can check the links below for everything I talked about. If you're interested in getting more done in your very busy days in a little amount of time, check out the Magic Timer method below. That's completely free, and it has made a massive change in how much I get done in a day at my house. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Talk to you next week. Bye.